Hey everybody, I do not have any idea what is going on with the live stream. I cannot chat with you guys, which is a real bummer. I enjoy communicating with you folks. So I'll just give a little update about what I'm doing, and if I see people pop in, I'll just let you know. For whatever reason, I cannot see the chat. It says something went wrong with a monkey and a hammer. So anyway, I'm starting this back up 20 minutes after I started the initial live stream, and here we are. And so I'm at Tri-State right now. I have just finished my first math class about an hour and a half ago. It was really good. It was good to connect with other operators. And since the chat function for some reason is disabled, I guess this isn't going to be a Q&A. Unfortunately. So I'll just give you maybe a update about what it's like here at Tri-State, and some of the questions I got from the operators, and some interviews coming up, and some pretty interesting industry stuff that I'm seeing. So first thing I'll say is I was not surprised, but I was interested to see the level of complexity that these higher level operators were finding with the math. And so they were pretty good at most of it, but some of it I could tell, like, a little steam was coming out of their ears. And so I think I want to push maybe a little bit more advanced math on the channel, because it's very useful. I think people can get a lot out of it. And then the other thing I want to say is that like, these operators are really, it's kind of the reason I started the channel. These guys and gals work in one plant that does like one thing, and I think that we can really do a lot of good by sharing our experiences and talking about different controls and processes and making these videos to help people pass their exams. I think that the thing that's coming out of Tri-State that's going to be the most value to the audience, though, the people that are going to watch this replay, is the interviews. Last night I interviewed Casey he's the chief plant operator in grade 4 wastewater treatment plant operator from Marin Sanitary District number 5. He's a really, really nice guy. He gave me the thumbs up about 15 minutes ago to publish his interview. I stayed up late editing because I'm a crazy person, and I ended up sending it over to him this morning, and he had a chance to watch it. So look for that probably Thursday. I'll publish that on Thursday. And he talks about how he got into wastewater, what he did before, some career setbacks he had. We talked about what we both look for in a applicant, like somebody who might be looking to get into wastewater treatment. And a real small world moment, I guess I'll spoil it. He didn't know this, but I knew this because of a mutual connection we have. He and I competed for the same job 12 years ago, and he won. He beat me for the job. And I dropped that on him right before the interview, and he was like, "Oh, no way." It was just a really great interaction, and we ended up just getting along really, really well. And it was a really great interview. So after I'm done with this live stream, I'm heading back over to the convention center, and I've got another grade 3 operator we're going to do an interview together, and he's going to send it to his. A lot of this stuff has to go through like public affairs and PR folks to get approval. If the bigger the utility, the harder it is to get somebody to actually sit for an interview. So hopefully sometime next week you'll see that one. And on Tuesday I'm going to be I got to send him the link, but an operator in Connecticut, John, and I are going to connect and do an interview. So I'm kind of getting the hopper full of interviews. This channel's not going to turn into a big interview channel, but I'm going to kind of release them as they come, and as maybe I've got a gap here and there, and I'll spread them out so it's not just being inundated with these interviews. So if you're just joining the live stream, I cannot see your questions. So I'm just giving kind of an industry update and what it's like at Tri-State. I'm sorry. I have tried this. I've tried Googling. I actually watched a couple YouTube videos on what in the world's going on. I restarted the computer. I hotspotted my cell phone instead of on the hotel Wi-Fi. I have no idea what in the world is going on with the chat box. So if you're trying to ask me questions, unfortunately, I cannot see them. So I'm just going to kind of keep going with an update for the channel. So the math class was great today that I taught. The connections I'm making are wonderful. Oh, and another interview I'm doing tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. because it was the only time that worked out for us is a gentleman named Frederick Tack. He's an engineer and an operator. And he and I just had a great conversation today. He is a level 4 Arizona engineer, if I'm remembering that correctly. And we're going to get to hear what it's like from an engineer, a principal engineer that is also a high-level operator. He said that as an engineer, he wanted to get to know what it was like actually in the plants. And I think that is so important that engineers know what it is we do. And so we're going to get to hear from him as well. The vendor walk is insane. I was going to live stream from there, but it was so loud. There were so many vendors. I couldn't really make heads or tails of it. So I'm going to try to talk to some vendors so you guys can get an idea of, some of the other jobs out there. I know everybody wants to be an operator or a mechanic, but sometimes you start as a vendor, selling chemical or something like that. So just something to consider. I'm going to try to nail down a few of those folks. So the other thing I want to talk about outside of this convention I'm actually in my hotel room right now. Outside of the convention is something, I put a short out about it, I think yesterday. There was a study that was just released by Microsoft, and Fortune magazine is where I read it. I saw it on social media. I didn't believe it because I don't tend to believe things I read on social media right off the bat. I went and researched it, and it was really a cool study because there were, it talked about how there were 40 most likely, jobs most likely to be affected by artificial intelligence, and there were 40 that were less likely. And the third least likely job to be affected by artificial intelligence was wastewater treatment plant operators and drinking water operators, which is really good for us. And the thing is that just because artificial intelligence isn't coming for our jobs, it doesn't mean automation isn't also part of that equation. And so we do have automation in plants, and right now plants are run by far less people than there used to be. Okay, as things become more streamlined and computers are running things, the operators aren't standing at wet wells watching the level pump up and down. We went to floats, and now we have transducers, and we have all these different controls. And if you watch that video with Casey that I'm going to publish on Thursday, our interview, we talk about this a little bit, and I think it's worth noting that as I dig more into research, and I'm kind of going down this path of the wastewater enthusiast and helping people get certified and giving best practice, career advice, I'm starting to think about the next generation of operators. So in the 70s and 80s, the operations look way different than they do today. And now, I'm starting to see the younger generation come through, and they're way more computer savvy than I am. I'm pretty good, but I can't get my stinking live chat to work. So how good am I really? So the other thing is that they, their learning capabilities are just going to be better than ours because we're older. We're not going to learn things as fast. I just turned 40 just the other day, and I am not going to learn as fast as like a 25-year-old. And Casey and I were talking about what's the next generation of operator look like, and it's going to be an operator that wears all the hats. You're going to be a mechanic, you're going to be an electrician, you're going to be a controls person. So I would advise, as I'm starting to come to this realization, that you start looking at getting your getting to instrument and electrical and instrumentation, some controls, learn about PLCs, learn about signal voltage, learn about all these things that you would need to know in order to become like maybe a SCADA programmer, things like that, but also an operator. I was taking a tour with the deputy director of wastewater for City of San Luis Obispo and the plant superintendent about 3 weeks ago. And by the way, he has agreed to do, I'm super excited about this. He has agreed to do an interview for the channel. And once they're done with their 10-year plant expansion that is wrapping up at the end of this year, it's state-of-the-art, beautiful plant, and membrane bioreactor with all sorts of bells and whistles, odor control facilities, dewatering. He said he would give us a virtual tour of this brand new plant. And I'm so stoked about that. But when I was doing the tour with him, we were on the A-bays. A-bays mean aeration basins. We were over the aeration basins, and we were talking some shop. They run about a 6,000 MLSS. We're talking about foaming issues. We're talking about all these things. And he said, the problem is the plants have become so automated that it's hard for the operators, or sorry, not the operators, but the mechanics to go out and just do stuff because if they, dial down the stem of a valve to grease it and then raise it back up, you could throw the whole shebang off kilter. And so I asked them, well, if that's the case, you have to, it sounds like, because they had a separate mechanical and a separate operations team, which is very typical. I said, so let me ask you this, like your mechanics are now having to be followed by operators to do these tasks. And he was like, yeah, kinda. And I said, so would you say that your operators are going to need to become mechanics? And he said, no, actually the opposite. The mechanics are now becoming operators. And it just, this light bulb went off, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's the next step. I would be less worried about operators being, if you're an operator right now, I wouldn't worry about like, oh my God, I'm not mechanical. They're going to get rid of me because a mechanic's going to take an operations job. That's not so much what happens in the public sector. That's more of a private sector thing. In our world, when that kind of stuff happens, they let you just retire, and then they backfill it with a position that would be more of like that hybrid position. But for those of you breaking in, that's really an important thing, is that the mechanics are becoming operators because they have to be operators to do the mechanic thing. And I mean, if you just follow the breadcrumb trail down the path, you can obviously see that it's going to be that you have two applicants in front of you. One's an operator and one's an operator mechanic. You're going to take the operator mechanic. It's coming down the line. So that's just something to be aware of. And that interview I'm posting on Thursday with Casey. If you're just joining the live stream, by the way, I cannot see the chat. I've tried so many things to see the chat. There's a monkey with a hammer that says something went wrong. So I am sorry. This isn't going to be a Q&A. I really do apologize, but I'm just kind of trying to give you some industry knowledge while I'm here, fresh at a convention, and it's all around me. So anyway, and also for those of you who are just getting here, I did an interview with a grade 4 chief plant operator last night. That interview is going to be published on Thursday. He gave me the thumbs up about 20 minutes ago that he said it's good. And then here in about at 6:15 p.m. my time, so in about 45 minutes, I'm meeting another grade 3. Awesome guy. We chatted last night. I'm doing an interview with him, some career advice, things like that. And then at 6:30 tomorrow morning, I'm doing an interview with an engineer operator and maybe some vendors and stuff like that. But anyway, I apologize that the chat's not working. I will make it up to you guys, and we'll do a Q&A maybe in the next couple weeks. I'll find a time. I was really hoping this was going to work because I'm not at home. I'm not at the plant. Perfect time to do it. Of course, the chat doesn't work. So anyway, I just think that you guys should look at some vocational training, electrical for sure, instrumentation, absolutely. Get to know the sensors, get to know all of these types of things, like how you would need to calibrate sensors, like what 4 to 20 millivolt, or not millivolt, milliamp signals mean, how power supplies work, and how all, the power, you've got the incoming power, but it's normally going to be run by 24 volts going to the relays and all this stuff. So really fine electrical stuff is really I can see it. I can see it coming down the horizon. So I'm not going to beat the drum on that anymore. Some, if you've watched any of my other videos, some other cool stuff that we're doing right now is, aside from the interviews, I'm doing tours of plants. I'm doing the new wastewater whiteboard has debuted, and it really went very well with the screen share. And if you're just tuning in, I said this at the beginning of the live stream. I am going to start doing some more advanced math. I gave a math class today at Tri-State. It was my advanced math. I'm doing the basic tomorrow, and it was a small class. It was great, but what I noticed was some skilled operators had a little bit of steam coming out of their ears on some of these math problems, and I think I was able to add a lot of value to them. But I think that I really am becoming passionate about giving this stuff away for free. Like, I'm being paid to come out, to drive here, take time off work. So I'm being paid to be here. But if I can put it on YouTube and you guys can learn from there, well, giddy up. Let's do that, because it seems as though this advanced stuff is not as accessible. And I don't know why. I don't know why there's such a gatekeeping over this information. And what I mean by that is, when I'm studying for my 5, I have a whole series on. You can go look at the playlist. I'm going to be taking my grade 5 here in the next couple months, and I went to go get some of these manuals and some of these study guides, and I noticed like everything's like $150. Like $150 is the magic number, and I don't understand. Like if I were to buy all the different manuals, so I could have a nice, well-rounded view of what I might encounter on the grade 5, I would be in it for like 450 to $600, and some of them won't even sell them to you for whatever reason. They want you to come to their class, which is impactful on my life, so I'm not going to do that. And I just have been getting this idea of like, I wonder if I could set up some kind of a 4-hour live stream where we do an exam prep live stream, and hopefully my stinking chat box works. But if I was able to get a moderator, we could figure out whatever this anomaly is that's going on with my chat box right now. And by the way, I keep repeating that because I'm seeing people are coming in and out of the live stream, and I want people to know that I can't see your chat. So if you've been here the whole time and you hear me beating the dead horse over the chat box, that's why. I'm just trying to keep bringing that up, that I can't see the chat, and I've tried everything I can just can't see it. So, but I've had this idea of like, how can we make this, like, kind of democratize the knowledge. This is not proprietary knowledge. This is not an industry secret. Like, this is normal stuff. Like, it's just math and it's just process control. I wonder how we can lower those prices and make it just either free or very low cost and high quality. I don't understand why there's so much gatekeeping of knowledge in our industry. It is a strange thing. So, and I wish I could hear back from you guys and get your opinions on all this because it would be really insightful. But let me see. I was really planning on having a Q&A, so I'm kind of pulling stuff out of the air right now. Let's see. We did the math. We've got the interviews coming. We've got activated sludge. So I want you guys to know I'm going to make good on my promise. I'm back to work on Friday. This is great, actually. This is a great thing. We had a problem at the plant. So I've got coverage right now at the plant, and I was taking phone calls during my math class. It was actually not on the wastewater plant. It was on the drinking water side. And if you're unfamiliar with nitrification in drinking water, it is a very dangerous thing. And so this is actually a great opportunity. I can fill a little bit of void here with process control on drinking water and the difference between nitrification in water and nitrification in wastewater. So nitrification in wastewater is good. We want that. We want to be able to convert ammonium or ammonia, depending on the pH equilibrium. We'll get into that in another video sometime. But we want to convert that to nitrate, nitrate, and then denitrify. That's a good thing. But in drinking water, what happens is we use something called chloramines, and there's typically a free ammonia residual, and that these Nitrobacter and Nitrosomonas, they feed on that ammonia, and they end up converting it to nitrite and nitrate. Well, unfortunately, in drinking water, there is a disease called blue baby syndrome. I think it's pronounced methaglobinemia. Look that one up. It's a long one, but it's called blue baby syndrome or blue baby disease. What happens is, since there's bound oxygen in nitrate, the infants their bodies don't understand bound versus free oxygen. So an adult drinking nitrate, that's one thing. A infant drinking nitrate, it confuses the red blood cells get confused and they don't uptake oxygen, and it suffocates the child. It's a really dangerous thing. And so it's something we are eagle-eyed about on our drinking water. And so it was rearing its head, and the operator that was covering for me called me right away and said, hey, this is happening. And so what we did is we ran some calculations, and we ended up breakpoint chlorinating the tank. So when it happens, it can happen really fast. He said yesterday the levels were normal, today they weren't. And so temperature plays a huge role in this. There's some other things, some longer term maintenance things we could do to kind of ebb it, but eventually every summer it's kind of happens and we have to deal with it. So we did some dosing calcs, and we ended up we call it a burn. We burned the tank. And so what we'll do is we'll run a free available chlorine residual for, I don't know, a week or two, and it will kill all the nitrogen or those Nitrobacter, those AOBs, ammonia oxidizing bacteria. We'll kill them all off. They'll starve them to death, or we'll oxidize them using chlorine, and then we will convert back to chloramine. So that's a little bit of a process control thing. If you're unfamiliar with nitrification in a drinking water tank, that's kind of in a nutshell, it's super dangerous. You watch your pH because acid is a byproduct of nitrification, and you watch your total chlorine residual because when it creates nitrite, that nitrite eats chlorine. Nitrite is a 5-to-1 chlorine to man. Okay, so nitrate though is not, and so nitrate will not use chlorine, will not combine with chlorine in any significant way that would affect residual. So that's something I could share that happened, a little process control thing. If you're just coming into the live stream, can't see the chat, I'm so sorry. What I'm doing now is just kind of sharing some industry knowledge and some process control stuff. I really do apologize for those of you who came to do a Q&A, but I can't see it. There's something technically wrong with the chat box. I tried a lot of different things. So anyway, so getting back to activated sludge, probably not Friday because I've got to deal with this nitrification thing. I want to put my eyes on it myself and just make sure that everything's okay when I get back. And then so I'm thinking Monday or Tuesday I will begin filming. And I really don't know how exactly I want to approach activated sludge because it's just so involved. But what I'm thinking I'll do is a tour of my membrane bioreactor. We will just start from the headworks, and I'm going to just take you on a tour, and we'll do a whiteboard session using the new setup with the screen share, and we'll talk about all the different vocabulary like MCRTs and F to M ratios and things like that. And this is going to kick off. And I've said this before. I have hesitated at starting activated sludge because it is. There's so much to it, and I know when I open Pandora's box, it's just gonna be a prolific series. We're gonna be doing SVI. I'm gonna show you a set solids test. We're gonna be doing MLE, BART info. We're gonna be going through. I mean, this is probably gonna be videos and 9 different videos in this series. It's gonna be a lot, and I'm really excited about it. But it's gonna be a lot of work too. So I'm gonna also be weaving in all these interviews and all these other things, the tours of plants and trying to get you guys as much content as possible while also not burning out. I'm trying to do 2 videos a week, but can be intense. So that's why I'm really stacking the interviews while I'm here. I'm not going to just dump them all on you all at once. And then you guys are like, what am I going to do with these 7 interviews? I'm going to actually just trickle them out to you a little bit at a time when I maybe need a break from filming or things like that. And the other thing I'm going to do is I did the vendor walk at the exhibit hall just a little while ago. And it was super loud. I was actually considering live streaming and wandering around there, but it was just so loud. It was chaotic. People were everywhere. They give you drink tickets. Beer was out. People were drinking, and I was like, yeah. I mean, that's fine, but I don't necessarily want people kind of getting sloppy in the background or something like that. So I just decided to retreat back to the room here. But maybe I can find some vendors. There's one guy in particular I really want to connect with that has a really cool product. I was trying to buy for my plant, but it kind of didn't work out. But I wanted to chat with him about it's a type of flocculant, and I think that would be a really cool complement to my coagulation and flocculation whiteboard segment. So anyway, I think I need to since I can't see you guys, I probably should just wrap this thing up. I do want to say I want to thank all of you because here's the deal. I was walking through, and I think 3 different people found me, came to me, shook my hand, and said, "Thank you for doing your YouTube channel. It has helped me." Pass my grade 4, it's helped me pass my whatever grade, or I make my operators watch your videos. And it's surreal because I used to be that guy walking around, and these larger than life people were I would go up and be like, oh, can I get 5 minutes of your time to just talk to you? And it's you guys out there that are watching that are giving me this platform, because if there were no viewers, it kind of gives credibility. And we're approaching 1,600 subscribers, which is huge. And I'm really thinking if we can push to 10,000 or beyond subscribers, we could actually probably make some influence the training space in this industry, and like I said earlier, force those prices down a little bit and make things a little bit more affordable for just not people that work at utilities. I mean, they're typically have a lot of money and they send people to these trainings and they pay out the nose for these trainings. I'm talking about the people breaking in that do not have a big deep pocket utility backing them. I want to help them, and I want to find a way that we can use this channel to kind of push those training companies to drop those prices. If I'm offering it for free, or if I don't know, set up some 4-hour class live stream and charge a $20 fee to sit in an exam prep for for 4 hours, and I can make that work for me, and it'd be worth my time. We could really disrupt the training industry. So it's not like what I intended to do, but it's like kind of an interesting thought. And so anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you all for everything. And I'm again, very apologetic that I didn't get the stinking chat box to work. There is something wrong with this network, or there is something wrong on the computer. But by the time I do the next live stream, it will be fixed. I will verify it's fixed before I announce the live stream. And I'm hoping to do that maybe in the next couple of weeks to make up for this one. So anyway, thank you all for sitting here and listen to me yammer for 25 minutes. Boy, I can talk, can't I? So I didn't even know it's been that long. Holy cow. Yeah, and I got to get back to the conference hall and interview some more operators and get you guys some more behind the scenes knowledge about what you can do to break into the industry. So anyway, look out for that one from Casey on Thursday. That's when I'll publish it. And have a great night, everybody. And again, apologies for the chat box. Okay, take it easy.